104.1 KRBE, a Cumulus media station.
Good morning, everyone.
We ready?
Live from the TXU Energy Studio.
The Roula and Ryan Show with Eric, featuring Special K and Sam.
All right, we just came off of many of your phone calls at 833-390-KRBE, and I feel like thousands of your texts from people who absolutely are feeling what Jenna left us on the listener line, where she is overwhelmed, has lost her identity. She's a mother, she's a wife, she works 24/7, it feels like, for her oil and gas job, and she has totally lost herself, and she's exhausted.
And if you missed it, the podcast, go to the podcast, say, listen to that in the 7 o'clock hour.
Right.
But real quick, Ahmad got a phone call. And tell everybody, usually we don't do behind the scenes of things, but I just wanted people to hear what we deal with sometimes.
So annoying. Like, through all that positivity, there's always a sourpuss.
Sure.
This guy calls in. He's like, this is blanking depressing. You guys aren't even qualified to talk about this. And I don't want to hear this in the morning. And I just feel like, yeah, we try to make you guys laugh, but we're also here to help people. You know,
and she obviously struck a chord with thousands of women who
resonated. And he was like, "And I'm going to email your blanking boss." It was a lot of efforts.
A lot of effort. He was really mad. We were helping out this woman.
He's going to email our female boss.
Yeah,
right.
Okay. She's going to mansplain how you should do radio because, you know, screw off, buddy.
And Irvin said it best, who does our digital. The whole point of that was for men to just shut up and listen for once.
Right. And
like,
he's just cussing out. Like,
I was like,
you're missing the point, dude.
Okay,
you are the problem.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Exactly.
Must be a super.
Screw you.
Must be a gold medal husband there.
Yep, I know. Have fun there, buddy.
So many women have to endure.
All right, so y'all can leave your comments on the listener line at 713-278-VENT if you're still thinking about what we were just talking about, because now it is time for us to shift gears into this.
It's Try It Tuesday on the Roula Ryan Show. It could be super weird, it could be super gross. We'll take it to the face.
Grab a garbage just in case.
Just try it.
Just try it.
Just try it.
Just try it. Yeah, we're trying different things. We have had all kinds of weird foods and different kind of beauty products, and you know, there's a variety of things out there. You can, even email us or text us or direct message us about, hey, how about this thing, this thing, this thing. If we don't try it in the room, you get a strike. 3 strikes, you're in the mystery box.
Yep.
Right now, Ryan leads that almost every time.
And we want to try something different. Like, you have a business, you want us to try your product? We'll try it. We'll give you
your honest opinion.
You're going to get an honest opinion. It might not be what you want. Mm-hmm. We're not going to lie.
That's one thing. We're pretty honest.
So we are welcoming the Celery Princess into the studio. The Celery Princess.
Should I get her royal music?
Here we go.
Hang on a second.
There she is.
Everybody bow to the Celery Princess.
Reshma Verghese. Hello, Reshma.
Hi, Reshma.
Welcome. Morning. Okay, so Eric found you, or you found Eric, Celery Princess Reshma. How did y'all find each other?
Dr. Bedros.
Yes.
Who Sam does endorsements with. I've known him for many years. We hang out a lot, and his wife Odessa, his friend. You guys have been friends for 10 years.
Dear friends of mine.
Okay.
So you've been dear friends, and she goes, hey, my friend has this business with celery juice. I'm like, what the hell's that? I'm intrigued.
I mean, it just sounds like celery juice.
I know that's good
now,
for
listen,
you.
It sounds healthy.
We know many.
Is there vodka in it?
Yeah,
no.
with gin in there. So a lot of people go to like Whole Foods or any grocery store. You get like a cold pressed juice. There are so many different companies. We've been advertising for companies with cold pressed juices that have like different concoctions. But this is strictly straight up just celery, Reshma, right?
That's right.
That's it. Now tell me,
liquefy it.
what's the genesis of this? Have you always been a juicer, or like how did you a juicer? Like, is this what you do for a living? You sell
professional
juices?
juicer.
Or did you find this somehow? And you're like, you know what, this is a good idea. Let's do this.
So my whole journey with celery juice started when my dad was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer about 4 years ago.
Okay.
And at that point, he had to do chemo because there was only a 1% survivability rate with pancreatic cancer.
Oh, yeah.
So at that point, I started researching a bunch of holistic remedies to help him. And I came across Anthony William, medical medium.
Okay.
And he has cured several people around the world with his remedies. And he's the whole creator of the whole celery juice movement.
Interesting.
So I told my dad, if this is one thing we're going to do together, this is going to be it. And so we started doing this together. And unfortunately, my dad passed away last year, but he was able to survive a good 3.5 years.
And that's
amazing.
highly highly unusual that he was able to survive that long with pancreatic cancer.
Yes, because Rachel, we've heard, because your dad was stage 4 pancreatic, and a lot of times when we hear that, somebody is gone in 5 months, 6 months, 8 months. It's very short. He lasted 3.5 years. He was able to extend his life.
You attribute it to the juice?
100%. And he ended up passing away because he got leukemia, which was a third cancer, as a side effect of the chemo. And it was called cytotoxic AML, which is a very rare type of cancer.
Sorry.
So it was really the chemo that killed him and not the cancer. His cancer was pretty stable for a good amount of years.
Wow.
And I attribute it to the medicinal powers of celery juicing.
Wow. So tell us, what are the benefits of just straight celery juice?
Several benefits. So the first is it helps with your liver health. It keeps your liver non-sluggish. It helps with autoimmune disease. It helps with your adrenal glands. It helps with acid reflux. I mean, I could go on and on about the
anti-inflammatory.
benefits.
I just want to know why everyone
Totally
looked at me when she said liver. I'm like, guys,
I know.
I got to check. My liver's good.
Well, one of the number one things that comes up when you put in celery juice to help, and it indicates gastritis, which I have a lot of family members with issues with gastritis, and I mean I don't know how this helps, but how long do you have to drink this in order for it to be, and how much for it to start helping a gastritis situation?
So I would say for maintenance, 8 ounces. But if you have a chronic issue, definitely 16 ounces to get the full benefit on an empty stomach.
Every day.
Every morning.
Like, so it's
at
more of a
least 4 to
breakfast.
5 times. Because you don't want the interference with other stuff. So you want to do it on an empty stomach.
So I was getting Rachma's story behind the scenes. You have always been in the health and wellness realm. You've been in the medical side of corporate medicine, right? That was your job.
Yes. I worked at Kelsey and then TCH.
Okay,
for
yeah.
a
So
long
Kelsey
time.
Siebold, Texas Children's Hospital. And you have moved on, and you moved from that job in that field into just focusing on selling celery juice because you believe in it so much and you've seen the benefits of it.
That's right.
And where do you sell it?
So I sell it online. I mean, you can go online to celeryprincess.com, and then you can just DM me on Instagram, and then, my clients just DM me.
What's your Insta handle?
The Celery Princess.
The Celery Princess?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's easy to remember.
Yeah.
Catchy.
And if someone wanted to buy this, how long does it last in the fridge?
So it's good for 72 hours, but I have had people prolong it for 5-6 days.
Special K would do that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And it's still
the best
fine
buy.
because I use a slow masticating juicer that minimizes damage to the nutrients, and it keeps it fresher for a longer period of time. So
Like, how many stalks do you have to go through to make,
no
like,
kidding.
What is this, 8 ounces?
Yeah, how
that's
many
8
stocks
ounces.
is this?
So about
You're
one
joking.
bag will give me about 3 juices.
Oh,
and I get
wow.
my celery from a local farm delivered to me, and it's all organic.
That's a great thing.
I'm used to
right
eating
there.
celery with peanut butter, so this will be different.
And this is something
mix
I
with
would
some
see.
in
I
there.
feel like a farmer's market. Farmers markets always have different vendors and
Absolutely.
stuff. If you're just tuning in, we're talking to the Celery Princess,
Sounds good.
Reshma. It is celeryprincess.com and just straight up celery juice. The celery is rich in vitamins A, K, C, and B vitamins with minerals like potassium and magnesium.
All right.
And it helps with so many different things. We're going to try this.
And I want to say,
Let's
too,
take a slug.
I mean, you're not, because I just want to make sure health claims, we're not saying this cures cancer.
She's
Not
just
saying-
sharing her
yeah.
experience with it.
I just want to make sure, get that out there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely helps prevent.
It can't hurt.
Yeah, there's a lot of good things that it does, and it's such an underrated beverage. So
Okay, well, let's
Give it a
underrated.
shot.
try, guys.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right, hold on a second. I got to undo.
Smells
mine
like
'cause
celery.
mine was- I do like celery. Look, if you're not a celery person,
not
you might
bad.
not be crazy about it, right?
I
You
had
smell it.
this
Yeah.
foregone conclusion
I
that
like
it was going to be salty, and it's not.
Is it kind of sweet?
Right. You were expecting a V8.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is basically
I think so.
It's legit. The middle
not
of the
bad.
stalk,
Yeah.
like the whiter pieces of the stalk. It just tastes like liquefied middle
Yes.
of the stalk. It's
It's
just
like watered down celery.
sometimes like the
It's
wheatgrass
refreshing.
shot has a little bit of a sweetness to it. This is just straight up.
I can see myself
exactly what
buying
you
this.
smell is what you're tasting.
It's not hard to drink. It's not giving you that.
No,
it's
there's no
very
like
easy.
dirt
Dude, I
aftertaste or
fin- I
anything.
finished it.
Yeah, this is it's pretty fantastic. And your
Good stuff.
suggestion is 16 ounces on an empty stomach every morning.
yeah, if you have chronic issues, like I luckily I'm okay with my health, but I still love it, and I drink 16 ounces, and I notice a lot of benefits in the past 4 years of doing it with my dad. So
It was tasty.
Awesome.
Now, let me
And
ask you
Ryan
this.
that's the first time Ryan's actually...
Look at that.
No.
I finished the whole thing.
I could finish it too. Let me ask you this question because we joked, Reshma. Is this the kind of thing that you drink it and you're like, oh, wow, okay, time to visit the restroom? Just like clockwork.
So it definitely aids with digestion, and if someone goes to the restroom afterwards, there's stuff that needs to come out. So
Cleaning out.
So it's actually a good thing because there's elimination that needs to happen. So you might have diarrhea 1 or 2 times, but then afterwards you may be a little more regulated. So it definitely aids with digestion.
Okay, that's great. So celery juice, guys, that's what we're drinking.
I saw a
It's the
meme
Celery
that said
Princess.
it shouldn't be called diarrhea. It should be called gonorrhea.
No, that's already
Oh my God.
That's an STD.
Good luck.
I should have got that
name is
before.
already
Good luck trying to
taken.
change that name. I'm not sure a lot of people are going to say they have that.
If you could
It's
pull
like
that off.
asteroids instead of hemorrhoids, Kevin.
Yeah.
We don't call
Someone
them
should try and
asteroids.
change that. That'd be
Stop it.
marketing genius.
Stop it.
Out of 10, I give this like 7.8.
I give it a 10.
That's because I'm not.
I like celery.
Yeah,
not a juice
I'm
guy.
fine with it.
I'm not
I'm
a
a
juice
juice
guy
girl,
either, but
and
I
like
like this. And I'll
celery.
buy
I
it.
give this a 10, Reshma.
I think I'm going to put a salt rim on this and finish it off.
Oh, stop. This is really delicious. I thank you for opening our eyes to this. And
good.
I believe there are great benefits in all kinds of vegetables and how we don't get enough of it in our system. That's for sure.
Right.
What does this cost? I don't if I wanted to buy this sample you just gave us, this is 8 ounces. What do you charge for that?
So most of my people get a batch a week or 2 batches a week, most of my clients. And so I give you 6 juices for $50. And you just order the jars as a one-time cost on Amazon because I don't want to sell them in plastic cups because, it's
plastic,
microplastics leaking into your body. So you just want, those are their jars. We swap them out. And, I
like
deliver it right to you. So when life gets busy,
it's just right there. That's
make
cool.
it convenient. No hassle, no prep, no stress.
Aids with chronic acid reflux, fights autoimmune disease,
that's
like you
good.
said, heals acne, supports, helps prevent UTIs, supports weight loss, eczema and psoriasis, helps that, restores adrenals, a lot of things. Go to celeryprincess.com to read more about this celery juice that we just tried in the studio.
Well, I think
Give
you
it a thumbs
get
up.
the thumbs up from everybody.
I like it a lot.
Thumbs up.
Thank
Very
you.
refreshing.
Thanks for
Something
opening our eyes
healthy,
to this.
guys.
Yay! We all liked it, right? Overall?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think
Sam,
we all
what'd you give
like
it?
No, I actually did really like it. We were joking earlier.
Score 1 to 10, though. What would you give it?
I mean, if I felt like it would help alleviate some issues, like I have really bad acid reflux with this pregnancy, I would drink this all day, every
Try it.
day. Yeah, and to alleviate it. So I think it was
That's
good.
good to
And
know.
I tell people it's not a cleanse, it's a lifestyle. So, there's so many years of inflammation and crap we put into our body. So trust the process. You have to trust the healing process.
Yeah, and you're not doing
It's
this
not
as a
a quick
cleanse. You're
fix.
adding this
Yeah.
to your diet of your day, right? Start off your day with 16 ounces of celery juice. That's great. Reshma, thanks for listening to the show.
Can I say one more thing?
Sure.
If y'all hit me up on Instagram, and give me a follow, I will give you 50% off your first order.
Oh, that's a great deal.
Damn.
The Celery
Thank you.
Princess.
Celery
that.
Princess on Instagram. Thank you so much, Reshma.
And mention KRBE.
Yeah,
That's right. Please tag at KRBE.
I love
That's
it.
right. That's
Doing our
right.
marketing research.
All right. Coming up next, it's time for you to tell us the stories that you know about true crime. True Crime Tuesday. We have a podcast that Ahmad put together of all the calls we've been getting.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
There are a lot of Houstonians who have been connected to crimes, whether it was their next door neighbor down their street, almost had a date with a serial killer, things like that.
Or maybe
It's
they
very
were the
interesting.
criminal.
I would like to get a criminal to call in sometime, like today.
Because we had people call in who did their time in jail and, they'd pay their debt to society, but they tell us about the crime.
Especially the behind the thing when they, like a cat burglar, those people that they can tell you
They steal cats.
what not to do in your house. Like they can see a house and go, yeah, that place is primed to get robbed.
Right.
They're doing this wrong, this wrong, this wrong.
833-390-KRBE is our phone number. We'll talk to you next on the Roula and Ryan Show. 104.1 KRBE. It is True Crime
We need
Tuesday.
a menacing theme, with its ominous music. True Crime Tuesday.
Well, I mean, there's a reason the documentaries and all things that are crime related are like number one on streaming
Well, they
services.
get to you with the music and the somber tone.
Or just, I don't know why we as a
all I have.
people are fascinated with crime
I know.
and murders and things like
It's
that.
because it could happen to anybody.
Yes, and actually, for those of you who are maybe newer to the show or you missed this little stat fact, I don't know how long ago Sam told us when you go for a walk, you look for garbage bags with bodies in them.
I mean, I'm just
Thinking that maybe
aware.
there's a
It's
dead
not like
body somewhere.
Let me just also say, it's not like I see a bag and I'm like, let me go open it and see if there's a dead body in it.
Right.
You've
It's
seen where
just
she
one of those
lives.
things.
The chances are 50-50.
It's feasible.
Right. Yeah, I mean, hey.
But she started pretty much when you told that story. That's kind of kicked off True Crime Tuesday in a way.
Because,
I'm just
because we
very
asked the question-
self-aware that it could happen.
Yeah, and you want to know how to avoid it from happening to you. Right. You're like, well, I had no idea.
I think we're doing it at the right time, too. They say you should never watch this before you go to bed.
And don't forget, we have Ahmad put the podcast together. It's called True Crime Podcast. It's basically like an hour of all of our best calls of the last 3 months.
That's awesome.
So we worked to put them all together so you can just put it on there and listen for an hour.
And you'll hear Carmela's call right now at 833-390-KRBE if you're connected somehow to a crime, or maybe you were a former criminal and you want to tell us your ways.
Educate us.
Not getting criminals to call in.
No, Carmela is not a criminal. Hi,
Most people don't
Carmela.
want to bring that up.
Hi, Carmela.
Hi, I am not a criminal.
Correct. You are not. But
I had a next door neighbor, and we grew up closely with them. The lady across the railroad tracks from me, and we were in a little town of Pendleton, Oregon at the time. She had to take in 6 of her grandkids and raise them because her daughter and son-in-law were found murdered in their grocery store in Great Falls, Montana.
Oh, my God.
But like they own the grocery store or just the grocery store of the town? They own it?
They own the grocery store.
okay.
Yeah.
And she was
And
found
so
in
this
it?
is-
Both of them.
They were both.
They were
sorry.
both in the store.
Oh.
Was
they
it
were
a
both
robbery?
They're not sure. From what I understand, they came and took them from their house, left the 6 kids sleeping upstairs,
Oh, my God.
and took them to the grocery store and then murdered them there.
Oh, gosh.
It's still a cold case, and I would love to see this get solved.
How long
I'm
ago?
still very
Carmela, how long
Oh,
did this happen in
gosh.
Oregon?
well. It happened in Great Falls, Montana,
Oh, sorry,
and
Montana.
yeah. So the youngest was probably about 5 months, 5-month infant, and she actually just passed away, and she's older. So I want to say, God, this is probably about 50 years ago,
50
maybe,
years.
So this is definitely
or maybe
no
maybe
cameras.
like 46,
Okay.
because I was
Okay,
little.
but 50 years ago,
Yeah.
and
But
it's still
this
a cold
happens.
case. Somebody just murdered 2
So
people
what
and got away with it?
They did
They
is they
cased
cased
them.
it and they
That's
took
right.
them by
Yeah.
trying to get the safe or something.
Yes.
And they still do that
Yeah,
today.
you can look the story up. The name is Arata, Arrota. And just look up Arata murder in Great Falls, Montana. There's a 2020 story about it. And I'm still in touch with one of the granddaughter's daughter.
Mhm. Yeah. Because
So,
it's been
They're a
Right.
family friend of mine. Yeah, I've been in touch with her. In fact, I have her daughter staying with me right now. So I'm very close knit with this family.
See, this is something that
Wow,
happens in this
Carmela.
day and age. This happened.
crazy.
Something similar happened in my neighborhood about 10 years ago, where the small business owner he owned a dry cleaning company, and the people cased him, and they realized that he was taking home the proceeds from the day and putting them in
So
a
I'm not going to
safe.
the bank.
They did a home invasion during the middle of the day, and
terrible.
I do believe both people lost their life and they got the money. It still happens.
I wonder if there's someone in the police department, detectives, that could let me know. How does that work with cold cases? Like they just sit there and then somebody gets
A wild hair and says, let me open this box and see if I
Let me
can
go
help
back-
this case out.
Yeah,
Maybe new
'cause-
evidence
Maybe-
comes to light.
Or your whole
Yeah.
cold case. Because there was a show
they
called Cold
recognize the
Case that I was
crime.
obsessed with. I loved watching Cold Case. I never watched it when it was in its original run on CBS. I watched it on the After Effect, but they had an entire department. Like it was like this team that was the cold casers.
Like, do they have someone that takes all the cases from like 1974 to
And say, okay, let's
1978?
tackle this and
they
see what
type
we
them
can
all in the
find.
computer. That way, in the file. That way, if they see a case that has
cross-reference and
this-
verify.
this person uses zip ties from Ace Hardware. And then they go, wait a minute, this was a case we had 20 years ago where this guy did
ties
this
from
too.
Ace Hardware.
Eric, you bring up a
Do
good
they have
point.
that type of
Yeah, I
technology,
don't know.
or is it all like
or is that
it's
just
in a cardboard
TV?
box?
That makes us think it.
Where
And it's just sitting on a shelf.
where the Ark is of Indiana Jones.
the Ark of the
But
Covenant.
if you think about with the advent of AI, that they can start noticing, the computer programs will
Yeah, but you have
notice.
to enter in the computer for AI to understand it.
Well, yeah.
So
So,
a human
anything
still
that's
has
been
to do
sitting in
that.
a
That's what I'm
box
saying.
for 30 years,
Do they have the
probably not. But if it's the
manpower
last
or
10
money
years,
to do that?
Somebody made it. Carmela, you're still there, right, Carmela?
Yes, I'm here.
Somebody made a very interesting observation about your voice. You are either A, Phyllis from The Office, or you're Sadness from Inside Out. Has anybody ever told you that? You kind of sound like that?
I don't hear.
Well, it might make sense. I am from a little town of Pendleton, Oregon. That might explain it.
Okay.
I could kind of hear it.
I kind of heard it at the end there, and somebody said, ask her if people ask her. She's on.
Did you say Dunder Mifflin?
Dunder Mifflin. Just kidding. Carmela, thanks for sharing that story. We're gonna look that up.
See, if that was happening in my town, I would never eat because my parents would tell me we can never go to that grocery store.
Oh, tell everybody about Starved Rock. Starved Rock. Speaking of eating,
if you look up Starved Rock, Illinois, that's where I grew up, near there. And they did a documentary on HBO, like is it Netflix now? Or
I don't know.
I thought it was HBO. They did like 2 episodes on it. And it's like all the people, I kind of knew some of these people. I'm like, yep, that's my hometown. Woo, those are my peeps. But it's basically a guy, he worked in the back somewhere and he tied up some women who were just at Starved Rock hiking. It's a hiking place.
You kidnapped them and tied them up.
Yep, and killed them. So my mom would never let me, like people from Chicago come down an hour and a half to go to our Starved Rock. And I've been there once.
Because your mom was like, you're never
my mom
going
scared
there.
me, said there's murders there. And this is before internet. So I couldn't check up on it to see like what happened. All I heard was there's a guy there that would tie you up at this restaurant, this hotel that's up there, and kill you. So
don't go tramping around at that cemetery up there.
They Starved Rock because they some Indians, that's where they live, American Indians, and they were trapped up there and they starved them to death. They couldn't because it's either you jump off the rock to your death or you starve to death.
Gosh.
Oh, God.
It's a very dark area.
It is.
That's really intense.
Back to Sam walking and thinking she might see something. You know, I always thought about that with like Buffalo Bayou, since this is the Bayou City with lots of bayous. You always wonder what you're going to dredge up in the bayou.
There's got to be a lot of bodies in that thing.
And I've told my kids, like, if you're ever at your friend's house and there's like a creek near their house or something, do not go in the creek. Do not go in the creek. Like,
Why?
I don't want them, because I don't want them to go in the creek and find something or
dead body?
fall in there or
Find some
drown,
fun?
whatever. No, I don't want them to go to the creek.
was fun when I was a kid.
No,
The creek was
no,
a kid.
the creek leads to the bayou, and I had to look up like dead bodies in Buffalo Bayou in November of 2024.
You love Stand By Me.
10 bodies were found in the Houston area bayous since June. From June until November, there were 10 bodies that were found in the bayou.
Because you're in Houston, Texas, downtown, of course. But
the bayou goes all through the city, Ryan.
Yeah, but the creek.
Any
I think
point of the
Kevin and
bayou,
Eric
somebody
are
could
talking
dump a
about
body
like
in there.
in a small town. Like I grew up in a very small town.
creeks.
That's what I meant. That dead kid Ray and
Had a
Stand By Me was
tire
that
swing. We
creek.
jump off into it.
Yeah, tires.
It's not the same anymore,
People dump
kids.
tires in
Yeah,
ravines
you make
and
little
stuff.
dams and create little lakes and make a whole thing of it. It's a whole afternoon of fun.
Yeah.
It is.
Your
Parents didn't
dog's
know where
down
you were.
there getting all dirty.
Scary Larry's living down there. I don't want my kids running into
Do
Scary
you
Larry.
remember I saw this, somebody remind me, they used to run an ad like at 10 o'clock at night saying, do you know where your kids are?
Oh, yeah.
And that was a real thing. That's how awesome it was to be Gen X.
Yeah.
Do
Because
you know where your kids are?
It's 11 o'clock.
you don't just let us go out and
Now
have
you
fun.
can't.
And you know what? Most of us came home.
Around dark.
But did they run that commercial for
Time to
like
eat.
teenage parents? Like, do you know if your kids are at a party, or what was really the point of that? Was it really like your kids have been gone all day and you don't know where they are?
I think they were targeting adults who
Yeah,
have
tell them,
kids.
hey, it's 10
Like,
o'clock. You're at home. Do you know where your kids are? Maybe, hey, you should try and find out what they're
but
doing.
is,
It
but
was
is
a
the
PSA,
implication that they're
Lola.
out drugging at a party?
No, it's
could be
just
just
saying
anywhere.
Anywhere. Like, what are they doing? What
I
are
wasn't
they up to?
drugging. I was just having
pre
fun.
cell phone, okay? So people didn't have the ability to just pick up the phone, and
Life
text their kid.
360 and see every move they make.
Track them everywhere.
It's true.
What you doing over there? So sometimes
But hey,
parents,
you love it. You can see how fast your daughter's driving on the street.
it's true.
Sometimes it can be a curse, though. You remember
very
I told
slow.
you
Sometimes she goes the
how
opposite.
freaked out I was that my daughter wasn't calling or texting or anything, and then I tracked her phone, and it said she was at a hospital. No, her boyfriend lived right behind the hospital. I'm having a heart attack, thinking something bad has happened.
And she probably loved it to teach you a lesson. Trying to
Yeah,
look at me as a
Yeah,
grown
don't track
woman,
me.
Dad.
Yeah.
You already
she's
have
a
a tracker
college
on my
student, and I
car.
was paying the bill.
Yeah.
Okay,
That doesn't give you a
You're
right.
paying the bill doesn't mean
That's
she
like,
doesn't have
okay,
rights.
lady, I paid for your services.
I'm paying
I
for
can
that
do whatever I
damn
want.
phone. You can answer it once in a while.
You can cut her off, but you won't do it because then you
Yeah.
really lose the control.
Yep.
That's true. Then you really have no idea where they are.
Yep. Once
All
you
right.
lose anything, yeah.
Y'all go to the
funny.
listener line 713-278-VENT. Coming up next, actors who were so good in the iconic role we know them for, you could not imagine somebody else doing that job. But other people did audition for it. We'll go over that next in Scoop on the Roula and Ryan Show there.
Time for your daily scoop. Celebrity Scoop.
KRBE's Roula and Ryan Show with Eric.
Okay, it's ready by Taqueria Saranda. So I want to remind you guys, you have a chance to win the best of Houston. What's the best of Houston? The best of H-Town? Well, it is a huge prize that includes 4 tickets to the Museum of Natural Science, 4 tickets to Typhoon Texas Water Park, 4 tickets to the Houston Children's Museum, 2 tickets to a production at Theater Under the Stars, and a $100 Big City Wings gift card. Now you have 9:20, you got 12:20, and you got 4:20. Those are the times we're going to tell you to call us to try and win the best of H-Town. So stand by for that.
Autographed picture of Ryan.
Oh, yeah. That spoils everything.
With a little lock of your hair.
I don't have much to spare. Let's not do that.
You don't do it to one person.
I wish I could tell you, well, the biggest thing that happened across the nation last night was U of H won the NCAA championship, but we didn't. So I'm going to try and distract myself and you with other things that are silly, but everybody's watched movies for the ages, and there are certain roles that you just love this actor so much as this character. You can't imagine the person being another actor.
I love it when you do this. The people that could have got the part.
Could have got the part, but didn't get the part. Now, really, the original story is about actors who nailed the role so well and nobody else could compare. I did a deeper dive secondary search to see, well, who else did audition for that? Or who else did they offer it to? Because in some movies, they don't even offer it to him. They just want this person to be the one. Like when I watched that behind the scenes from the reunion of Friends, that whole show, that entire show, Marta Kaufman and David Crane, all of them, they built that show around David Schwimmer. They saw him in something else, and they said, we want this guy to be Ross Geller, and he was their only choice. Ross Geller is the only character did not have to audition, and they were hoping he'd say yes to taking the Ross Geller role because David Schwimmer was doing other stuff. And he was like, I don't know, I guess so. And then Monica was supposed to be Rachel, and Rachel had tried out for, it's just funny how you see the auditions come to play. So when you think of like iconic roles in pop culture, Tony Soprano, we were just talking about this the other day. Is this an overhyped series? Is The Sopranos overhyped, or was it amazing?
It was amazing.
It was pretty good. It was pretty good.
There were a few stinkers in there. Anytime they did
maybe 10 episodes total were bad.
whenever they did a dream
Not even bad.
sequence.
No, the only thing that made me mad is when they didn't close the chapter on something. Like one of the most hilarious, and this is funny that there's a funny episode of Sopranos. One of the most hilarious episodes of The Sopranos is when Polly Walnuts and Christopher Moltisanti were stuck in the frozen woods, and the cell service is bad. And Tony Soprano is saying, the guy you're looking for, he's a Chechnyan renegade or whatever it was.
Yeah.
He killed like 20 people. He murdered the so-and-so of the interior. And Polly Walnuts can't understand it because it's cutting out. He goes, yeah, this guy's like an interior designer or somebody.
The place looked like crap.
Oh my God.
It's just so crazy, but they never ended that storyline because they were in the woods. They were chasing this murderer assassin, and then you think they're going to get killed or they're going to find the guy and kill him, and they just let that storyline die. Nobody knows what happens to the Chechnyan guy.
I think a year later they're going to bring it back.
Yeah, they don't.
And
They
they
don't.
did.
They just let it die.
It was open-ended.
So James Gandolfini was epic as Tony Soprano, but who could have been Tony Soprano? Stephen Van Sant, who ended up being Silvio. He originally auditioned for Tony Soprano, and they said no. They didn't want to go with him, even though they liked him a lot, because HBO said, well, he's never really acted before, because he's part of Bruce Springsteen's band.
I'd be like, plus I'd feel like he's not going to give this 100%. Like you're always going to go back and tour with Bruce.
That's a good point.
Like, I'd be like, he's going to leave us again. And yeah, I wouldn't pick him either.
Ray Liotta was offered the role of Tony Soprano, along with Tom Sizemore, who was in a lot of different roles back then. He was in Saving Private Ryan. He'd done a lot of different things. And then Anthony LaPaglia, but I think you're not supposed to really say the G.
You're the one from So I Married an Axe Murderer?
Yes.
He's his best friend? Yeah. He was a cop?
He did a lot of mob-type shows, though.
Sam's going to watch that movie.
So I Married an Axe Murderer is so ridiculous, but it's just kind of funny. Okay, so Kevin's going to like this one. One of his favorite characters to be at Halloween is Captain Jack Sparrow.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, is that right? Every time you buy a costume, I get another couple ducats in my pocket and I try to buy some more rum.
Johnny Depp is the most epic of the roles of Captain Jack Sparrow. But who else was offered those roles? Well, Jim Carrey could have been Captain Jack.
No.
Robert De Niro could have been Captain Jack.
No.
He could have been Jeffrey Rush, or what's that guy's name? The bad guy. Jeffrey Rush, or...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
He's like the other captain. He could have been like that character. Not
Michael
for me.
Keaton was offered that role.
Too old.
Christopher Walken? I feel like these guys were too old. And then Hugh Jackman is maybe more in the
He probably
wheelhouse
could
of
have
Johnny
done
Depp.
Because they would have all done it
maybe.
different. They're not going to do what Johnny
Right.
did.
Yeah. If you saw Iron Man and then the many Avenger movies that connected to Iron Man and the whole universe, Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man, but it could have been Tom Cruise.
They wanted him.
It
No.
could have been Jim Caviezel.
I don't even know who that is.
He played Jesus in the Passion of the Christ, and he was also a Superman, wasn't he? Jim Caviezel? He wasn't?
No.
Okay.
He was in the Count of Monte Cristo.
Okay,
What was the
right.
one where Dennis Quaid and him? He could talk to him through a CB.
Frequency.
Frequency.
That was a good movie.
And
There's that one.
they're like bonding. He's like playing with the CB because his dad always had one. Mm-hmm. And somehow some storm happened or whatever, and he could talk to his dad.
From like
and they
20
figured
years
it out.
ago.
He's like, wait a minute, Dad, you die tomorrow. Dad, you die. You can't be careful of that fire. There's, something happens. He tells him the guy
changes
doesn't
the
believe it,
past.
and he changed it all.
Oh, wow. It's
Jim
called Frequency?
Caviezel, by the way.
Yeah, Frequency.
Interesting.
He is actually, they're filming The Passion of the Christ 2 right now. So they're doing a sequel.
Is Jim
to that.
Caviezel
Wait,
playing
but
Christ again?
he only died once.
I guess this is about the
that
resurrection.
movie ends at resurrection. So they don't show him showing himself. They just show the light.
He has risen,
Read the
Kevin.
Bible.
He has
He's
risen.
risen. Okay, Sam Rockwell and Clive Owen were also considered to be Iron Man, but Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man.
Yeah, he
And one
is.
last one I'll leave you with. Meryl Streep is Miranda Priestley from The Devil Wears Prada.
For sure.
That's all.
Couldn't picture
That's
anyone
all.
By the
else.
way, have you guys heard the audio of Nicolas Cage's new movie, his new character in the Western? We got to pull
Is
that
it
up.
rough?
My buddy played it for me. Is wow.
Turd.
Okay, we'll do it after around 9:20.
To take a chance, because Jack Sparrow, he took a chance on that character. People could have laughed at him.
And doing a voice.
Wait till I'll find this for you guys.
Okay.
You got to hear Nicolas Cage's new Western movie.
Okay.
And Meryl Streep could have been, instead of Meryl Streep, I'm sorry, Miranda Priestley could have been Catherine Zeta-Jones, Glenn Close, or Michelle Pfeiffer.
Ooh, they're all good. I bet
Yeah,
they
Michelle
could.
Pfeiffer.
Glenn Close, I feel like she could have.
I think
Oh,
Glenn Close would be the best.
Catherine Zeta-Jones, she can. She plays a good jerk.
Yeah, but this Meryl Streep bowed down.
Oh, I'm
I just love
fixating
her
on
so
the
much as Miranda Priestley.
the
She's
Tom
so good.
Cruise as Iron Man. They're saying that he might be Iron Man as a variant in the new Marvel movie.
Yeah, I think like a nod to the original fans.
That's terrible.
Ladies and gentlemen,
The Roula and Ryan Show with Eric.
what's going down in H-Town?
104.1 KRBE.
Where's Ahmad? Ahmad, come over here real quick. I found this story and I thought of you immediately. So you are into vintage VHS tapes, right?
I am.
Okay.
Do you have a VCR?
Yes. Well, it's a TV.
That's the only thing
Or
he's
you're
waiting
hoping
for.
for one. I was like, you're collecting all these tapes and you can't watch anything?
No, it
Well-
comes in handy during a hurricane for sure.
Okay.
Houston closed down. They used to have this big place. It was like a museum. It's called Audio Video Plus, the Library of Alexandria. Okay, and it's a big VHS store where they sold these things. The empty shelves and the store are still there on Waugh in Montrose.
The Library of Alexandria. I don't know what that means.
That's just the name of this.
It's like
okay?
a Blockbuster, but that's the name of the
It was
video
like
store.
a mom and pop local museum type thing where you could purchase all these old VHS tapes.
Okay.
So they closed down the store, but guess what? It still exists online. They found an archive of 60,000 VHS tapes and a lifetime of video store historical artifacts. And they keep it in storage, but now they're selling it online. So I found you something here. So what you want to do, you can actually go to videosanctum.com. That's videosanctum.com, and it's right here in
A whole
Houston.
bunch of one of those air-controlled storage units.
Yeah, you don't want to
Right.
wobble tape.
Yeah.
That's the thing. People forget. I love VHS. Don't you remember you had to do this thing called
Nobody
tracking?
liked VHS. VHS
Tracking,
sucked.
like it would be, you'd put it in a VHS and
Yeah.
the picture would be shaking or something. You had to play with the tracking button.
And it took forever to fast forward, rewind, to get to the
Rewind.
movie, to get to the end.
I love the look of VHS. It'll always be like classic to me,
Crappy?
for sure.
It's so popular to
Yeah.
filter
It's
on
so
most
grainy.
of your apps now.
Right,
Maybe because it
exactly.
brings back
Filter on
memories.
Instagram and Snapchat.
But yeah, there's a Houston company. It's called Video Sanctum. Videosanctum.com.
And I had a fancy one with a remote, but the remote had a cord to
Cord?
it. So you had to put the remote like a third of the way in your living room on the floor.
That's crazy.
It
was
wouldn't
no-
reach to the couch.
Nope. It was like nothing. It was like 10 feet long, not even 8 feet.
The cord.
Yeah, I thought you'd get a kick out of
And
it.
that VCR cost $750. Remember my parents,
No way.
and that's $750 in 1984.
Yeah, is that
What?
crazy?
Yeah.
What would that be
Did you
now?
ever see The Wedding Singer? Glenn, what's his name? The Drew Barrymore fiance. He talks about, that's a CD player. It costs like $2,000.
That's insane.
Because
Didn't
CDs
y'all
were
say-
so crazy expensive and the players were expensive before they became mainstream.
Didn't you say VHSs used to be like $80?
Yes. For Back to the Future, if you
Yeah.
didn't
Brand
return
new
it on
movie?
time and they charge you for it, it was like $90
That's
or $125
insane.
to own Back to the Future.
Blockbuster's what changed that because they would go directly to the studios and they'd be like, self-select.
$300 is what that'd be worth today.
Whoa.
If we bought a VCR.
And I got mine for like $5 at the thrift store. So.
That's crazy.
You can buy a DVD player for like, I think $18 now. They're really cheap.
Hey, by the way, somebody on text, Eric, is answering your question when we asked about cold cases. This person says, as a detective, we do, because Eric asked, how did the cold case get chosen? Is there somebody in charge of like 1974?
Or is it just back in a file cabinet? You never see them with dust.
Right. Somebody said, as a detective, we do have new detectives that come back and check things unless new evidence comes to light. So I guess it's...
I feel like I'd hire the retired ones that don't want to do the beat or do the full time and just work part time.
You guys go back there to
like
those dusty
hobby.
boxes.
Yeah, just have some fun. Go in there and find some stuff.
Is it fun?
Yeah, to them, if they're detectives.
Like, yes, you're trying to find
if
something.
you could solve a crime, that's, I mean, not fun, but it's what they
satisfying.
Yes, satisfying.
Because you've got to help somebody finally have closure. Closure. That's on Wednesdays. We had revenge today. Revenge is where somebody messed with you, you got them back, and they don't know you got them back until you get them on the show and you tell us all about it. So that happened today with Danielle and somebody she works with. You're going to hear the full story next on The Roula and Ryan Show with Eric.